And we may be live. Let me just check, make sure that we're coming through on the YouTubes. And we are connecting. And there we go. Do we have picture? Do we have sound? Do we have anything we need to make this happen? We are there. Low resolution coming across. We're at the Rusty Bed Studios. Hi, everybody. Thanks to at Random for providing the Rusty Bed Studios for us, and for Rusty for letting us use his room. We are broadcasting with interesting internet. We'll find out if it lasts or not. We just reset everything, and so we'll see if it comes through. And I see already that we're now spinning. Give me a second here, see if we are broadcasting. Okay, we are live. Hi, Todd. Okay, so someone can see us. That's good. And looks like we're getting some Kevin bites coming through. We have, oh, geez, we're already dropping 17% of our frames, but it's on the way down. So we'll give it just a second here and see if that's the direction it wants to head, or we may have to abort the broadcast. So I haven't broadcast in a week. I'm up in Seattle right now. I want to broadcast now. I mean, I want to broadcast all the time. I just want to share everything with you good people out there. Todd got a new Xbox or something I saw on the Facebook. Our friend Ann, who's often in the chat room with us. Our friend Ann has suffered some health distress. So if you're a person who prays, pray for Ann, would you? And pray for Phil as well, as he keeps our Ann happy. Looks like we are rolling, and our frame rates, our drop frames, are starting to drop. And that's good. So let's get going on this. Several things happening in the news today. Number one, Rudy Giuliani has been told he's a target by the state of Georgia. They are investigating the election fraud allegations in Florida. They are investigating whether or not Trump tried to illegally coerce the Secretary of State et al. To overturn the results of the election in Georgia, which happened. And Giuliani is now no longer a suspect, which is just, you're a person of interest. He's been told that he's now a target, which means he's about to get charged. When you're informed that you're a target, this is standard procedure, this is the way that it goes. When you're informed that you're a target, you're being told, hey, we know you did it. We got the evidence on you. We're coming for you. And it gives that person the opportunity to plead the fifth anytime they're interviewed about anything, if they're deposed, etc. So it's a sort of a heads up, hey, you're bad. Can you turn your volume up just a little, Kevin? I don't know. Let me see. Okay, I'm a little bit louder now, a little bit louder now, a little bit louder now. Okay, suddenly I'm at every wedding I've ever gone to. Okay, so my volume's up. And I just blanked out in terms of kilobytes coming through. Now I'm back. So there may be some I'll just do this in the middle of the screen. I can't. It's up there. No, over here. Expect this during the broadcast. I'll do what I can, but the internet comes and goes here. I really have to go buy a hardwire. Maybe that's what I should do. Rather than waste this hour talking to you idiots, I mean, you, my good friends, I should find a like a computer store here that'll sell me like a 50-foot cable. Oh, I'm gone again. A 50-foot cable. This is going to be so bad. Yeah. It's going to keep, and now the dropped frames are on their way up. Guys, I hate to do this. I'm going to, oh, wait, I can't, with the new laptops, I can't even plug a cable into the new laptop. I have a little dongle to plug it. I could go to Best Buy and pay like $800 for what I need. But the stuff is, and there I'm down to zero again. Okay, this is going to come and go. This is going to be too frustrating for you guys. Sorry. I'm going to try and figure out a solution and hopefully be back later. Probably not today because my day is full. No, I might be able to come back later today. I've got a spare hour between 4 and 5 o'clock. That's what I'm going to shoot for. I'm going to try and get some internet that's consistent here. Not blaming anyone. I'm using Random's dongle at Random's dongle, Marcy. So this is the best we can hope for right now. I don't know why it's doing this. I'm now down at 0 kilobytes again. Now back up at 1800. So this is going to be a constant see-haw. That was I said see-haw, but you guys heard see-haw because of the internet issues. It blocked off that second S. I'm gonna try and deal. I'm torn. Should we just persevere because it's gonna keep dropping? What's gonna happen? It's gonna get to a part that you guys are actually interested in, and then it's gonna drop out completely. YouTube is really clear. Okay. Well, we'll persevere. So just down to 0 again. Now back up again. Okay, so maybe these are just drop-offs and coming back up. All right. We'll keep at it then and see what happens. So Rudy Giuliani has been told that he is a target. That means he's about to get charged. That's fantastic news. Several other things happening in the news today. The key thing to remember is that everybody, all the news stations are talking about the classified and declassified, and can you classify this guy? Several things can and cannot do, the procedures forth, what Trump is claiming, what he has claimed in the past, all of it. Several things to talk about here. Here's the point. None of it matters. None of the 3 charges that have been not laid, but suggested at this point against Trump, none of the 3 charges that got the warrant approved by the judge, who's a magistrate, which is a real judge. There's no difference between a magistrate and a judge in terms of their ability and their power. None of the 3 charges laid forth, none of the 3 laws have anything to do with classification. It's about government property, whether it's classified top secret or no secret or take it home with you. If the government wants it, it's their property. You work for the government. Again, Trump worked for the people. Trump was employed by the people. And I guess he never actually received a paycheck, but he did receive compensation in terms of the Secret Service and blah, blah, blah. So we can call him an employee, okay? He's the highest paid government employee. Actually, that's not true. I think the gentleman in charge of the Tennessee Valley Authority is actually the highest paid in the government. If that's still the case, I don't know. That was years ago that I learned that, but it was very funny that they made more than the president. But actually probably had a bigger and more important job than the president, because until the Tennessee Valley gets electricity and water, the TVA is really an important, along with the Rural Electrification Agency that started in order to bring electricity to the country. And by the 60s, the entire country had electricity, but the Rural Electrification Agency hung around for decades with people making money. That's the government works. That is the way it works. Let's see what this is a couple hours ago on Fox and Outnumbered. Let's see what Outnumbered has to say. Let's see on Outnumbered today. Anybody wants to talk about anything? I haven't been here for a week, so let me know, and we'll talk about stuff. If the internet's working. Looks like we're good right now. Let's get to it.
Estate. Growing calls for transparency as Republicans push for the release of the affidavit, which sparked the search warrant in the first place. The investigation is far from over, but that's not stopping some in the mainstream media from jumping to their own conclusions.
I don't know to whom she's talking. She's not looking at the camera. I think she's looking at the wrong camera. Go. I had a great birthday, Stephanie. Had one of my best birthdays ever. Come on.
Well, sometimes that's the only exercise they get. Hello, everybody. I'm Harris Faulkner. You're watching Outnumbered along.
We're watching the side of your face. Why aren't you talking to the camera? What kind of idiot? What kind of idiot doesn't talk to the camera?
With my co-host.
She may have, there's tally lights on the top of the camera. The tally lights might be broken. They're the little red lights that Trump always said have turned off. She's probably looking at the correct camera, but for whatever reason, they're showing this camera view. And this is a different, because we're in a it doesn't matter. But anyway, it's probably not Harris. It does look weird, though. Doesn't it look concerning? Like when Michelle Bachmann gave the Republican reply to the State of the Union and was looking off to the side the entire time because they had cue cards, they didn't have a teleprompter. She said affidavit, I know, but there are people that pronounce it like that. She's a lawyer. She knows what it is.
Kayleigh McEnany, the band is back together. Also joining us, Kennedy and Dr.
Kennedy. I had lunch with Kennedy. She's not a lawyer.
Dr. Mark Siegel.
I had lunch with Kennedy just down the road here at a restaurant called Serafina in Seattle.
Great to see you both.
It was not a date.
Well, FBI documents.
Oh, is that Dr. Person Woman Main Camera TV? I believe it is.
Reveal agents seized 11 sets of classified documents. One marked top secret, sensitive, compartmented information.
Yeah, bad, but again, irrelevant. Completely irrelevant.
4 top secret, 3 marked secret, and 3 marked confidential sources
Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
tell Fox News some of the records seized last Monday are covered by attorney-client privilege. Well, that's a problem. And a growing number.
Yeah, and anything that is, he'll get those back. By the way, apparently, I don't have Truth Social because I have an Android. And even though they say it's available on Android, it's not. You go there to the place where you're supposed to get the app, and it's just a sort of a reservation thing. We'll send you the app when it's finally ready. It's not ready. So everything you've seen about the app is available on Android, complete lie, like everything else in Trump world. Oh, happy birthday, Stephanie. In 15 days. Happy birth month, Stephanie. You're a little early, Leslie. So apparently they took his passports. Again, this could be complete falsehood, but they took 3 passports. One had expired. Is he talking about his passports and Melania's? He need 2 passports. Why does anybody need 2 passports? I have 2 passports, but that's because I'm a bi-citizen. Dual. I'm a dual citizen. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Number of Republicans.
But am I missing something? Is there a reason somebody would have 2 passports?
Calling on the Justice Department to release the affidavit that the Attorney General Merrick Garland used to sign off on.
That's not how the Justice Department works. The Justice Department is not going to release the affidavit until charges are filed. I mean, maybe if it might be leaked, if a committee demands it, because Congress does have oversight under Rule X over the DOJ, etc. But that sort of information, we never saw the affidavit on Hillary Clinton. That's just not how it's done.
The search warrant. I'm going to pause here and ask you what you would like for me to do at this point, because you're kind of toggling back and forth and it's a little confusing.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
She's talking to the director, because obviously the tally lights are going back and forth and she doesn't know what to do. This is not on Harris. This is a technical glitch. So is this. This thing has just a hint of, I didn't even realize this when I bought it here, but this has got, apparently this has got caffeine in it. So Hint now has caffeine water, I guess. So I should monitor my intake of that and learn how to swallow. Clearly I have a drinking problem.
We love our team. Ever since news of that FBI search first broke, some in the mainstream media have appeared to be delighted.
I like she's giving a side eye. She's looking at one camera and looking off to the side to the other one. I love that. She's covering all her bases. She's doing great, by the way. That's very disconcerting when you're up there in front of the cameras and you can see a monitor with you and it's the side of your face and you're like, nah, because you're not even looking at it. It's on the side of your eye, but your brain will tell you something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. So she's handling it nicely.
About the raid.
I think the shortest distance between Donald Trump and an orange jumpsuit is this investigation with the document.
Perhaps the orange jumpsuit is forthcoming.
I think a lot of people do want to see, Donald Trump.
Yeah, honestly, he could just prance around prison naked and nobody would know.
Handcuffed like an episode of Cops,
of course.
And walking out.
Perp walk, absolutely.
Right. We want to see a perp walk Donald Trump, and we may not see that.
It may be hot outside, but in here, it's Christmas. Because yesterday, we all got the present we wanted. FBI agents raided Mar-a-Lago. Oh!
If you get a chance to watch the Open on Tuesday to the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, take a look at it. There's some very funny stuff. You know what? I might have to jump forward on this because I do not want to get a copyright strike from CBS.
About all this, I mean, attorney-client privilege is serious. And what Matt Whitaker just told me, who, as you know, was the acting AG under Trump, was that, well, the FBI agents wouldn't have
He was the guy who invented a toilet for people with long dongs.
known to look for that. But everybody else might have known.
That's right. And that was such a compelling interview that you had with him last hour, Harris. And he went on to talk about the taint committee that has been formed. And this is really common.
Okay, so Oh, this is Emily. Okay. We're familiar with Emily. I think she's actually from Seattle or something. She's often in front of the Space Needle, if I'm remembering correctly. Ex-president has government passport plus regular passport. Aren't all passports government passports? Russell's is 901. Oh, that's somebody's birthday. Okay. Hi, Allison.
In litigation, which essentially you have a series of objective attorneys that comb through the documents and ensure that anything that is privileged is taken out of the pile. But that's a lot of eyes on what has been or has been alleged to have been privileged. And you can't sort of put that genie back in the bottle once that information has been seen. And I think it's important, too, against the backdrop of the prior politicization of things when, you know, we've talked about.
This is all just a distraction, by the way. Let's not talk about what's actually happening here. A former president is suspected of harboring government documents illegally. That's what's actually going on. Some of them military secrets of defense, and that's where the Espionage Act comes in. That's what's going on. But let's talk about, someone is looking at my will that I talked about with my lawyer, and the passport. It's all just a deflection.
Out in that media where people are celebrating Christmas for someone potentially being, you know, stepped down the line of prosecution. That's nothing to gloat over. That's nothing to celebrate.
Oh, yes, it is, Emily. Okay, so I see. So he's got a diplomatic passport. Okay. All right. It's not something I've ever had.
Celebrate a fellow American who's had his home raided.
I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
Especially a former president. And we know that now there have been heightened calls for violence, the left argues, and the DOJ is saying, against FBI agents, which is never acceptable. We obviously condemn all calls for violence, especially against law enforcement.
Okay, but you've got a president and you've got members of the media working for your television station who say that the FBI is the enemy of the people. That this is the worst thing that's ever happened. If it could happen to President Trump, it could happen for you. I'd be very, very concerned, USA, because they're coming for you. This is what they're saying. This is what your station is saying. Completely false. But what Lori Ingram is saying is that this is all just a setup so that those additional IRS agents, which have been confirmed through the funding in the Inflation Reduction Act, that those additional IRS agents, which are made to go after IRS cheats to bring in the income they owe the American people, the criminals, the tax cheats, to go after them and get that revenue that the American people deserve. They're saying, Lori Ingram is saying, this is all part of allowing those FBI agents and those IRS agents to go after you, the American people. It makes no sense whatsoever, but that is the line that they're drawing. That if they can do it to the president, they'll do it to you, and they'll do it with those IRS agents. That's the thinking.
Where was that, however? Where were the calls in the past by Peter Strzok, by Andrew Weissman, by people who are weaponizing this agency? Where have been the calls for the...
No one has ever called. No one on the left has ever called for violence against the FBI. What is she talking about?
19% spike in shootings of law enforcement, 300% spike in police ambushes over the last years. I'm not sure why, when it comes to Donald Trump, everything that should be clear and objective somehow goes out the window, and there's a toxic celebration of what with him, with a beehive circling, and a very toxic pointing out of...
Because he keeps telling everyone they're evil. He calls the Democrats evil. Not bad, not misguided, not confrontational, not even the enemy, actually evil. He calls the people evil.
Of threats of violence that don't seem to be present every other time that horrible situation unfolds.
I would only guess that
I don't know what she's talking about.
Hate is greater than love in this instance. We know that on Earth it isn't, but some people don't believe that. Kennedy?
Right. It's
Let me just lay down all my crystals here on the table.